Hey everybody, how you doing? If you're wondering, by the way, where I'm at in a cyber fashion, this room is, as you can see here, um, at the It's the new new. You've got to visit. You really do, really. I highly suggest you visit. Uh, newest, one of the newest Oakland hotels. This one in Uptown, the Kissel Uptown Oakland Hotel. That's right. It's what it's called, the Kissel Uptown Oakland Hotel. It's at 2455 Broadway. And it's part of the Unbound by Hyatt. And it's exceptionally beautiful luxury hotel that I suggest you really give it a try. Okay? It's you know $255 a night. Uh, the hotel has comped my room because they know I'm going to be talking about it. So I highly recommend, if you're someone doing a lot of social media, hey, make them a night and then stay the other night and pay something. But I digress. I really want to talk about Sage Steele for a moment. Sage Steele is the once ESPN sports anchor, yes, who lost her job, and unfortunately, African American. Although she calls herself biracial, is the one drop rule. Uh, but she's African American. She's black. Okay, and Sage has decided to weigh in with yet another one of her strangely anti-black comments that she's wont to do for reasons best known to her. I don't know why, but she does them. I'm actually had the her, if you could call it that, and I did. I was at a Super Bowl party during Super Bowl 50, a Super Bowl party thrown by none other than Conan O'Brien. And it was a lot of fun. It was actually at this kind of country western theme in the South of Market. I had never attended before, uh, or at least they made it country western themed. But the band was great. The drinks were great. The people were fantastic. I wound up dancing with this woman named Tina. Now it turned out that Tina had a friend that was watching us dance. She in the crowd. She sifted through the crowd looking for Tina and found Tina with. That's right. That was Sage Steele. I tried to get Sage to dance with us, and she was hesitant at first, and then got it. And just as she got into it, the music stopped. But I remember um, just choosing to be complimentary of my best self and how much I enjoyed her work and everything. Uh, and Tina was just, whew, lady. Wow. They're both gorgeous, two gorgeous women. Absolutely. But Sage has gone on this tear for some reason that I really just don't into. Um, and she says that she says that well, first of all, Shedeur's situation is not about race, and it really is. I completely disagree with her. But let me before I get to my feeling, let me explain as best I can what she's saying. Um, because she tells this, of course, not surprisingly, to Fox News, and she was on with Brian Kilmeade, and she's adamant that right here, and I'll present it to you. She's adamant that race has absolutely nothing to do with this at all. And here's the page that Sage Steele is on Fox News, where she's coughing up her idea right there. She says, hell no, racism was absolutely not the reason Shedeur Sanders fell in the draft. And then she goes on to state that uh, she believes that if people crying racism did their homework or just the scouting reports, they would have seen the many inconsistent concerns over Shedeur Sanders' intangibles. Steele calls it lazy in a situation. The boy cried wolf. All right. And this is where she's wrong. First of all, she herself has obviously, just by her take, didn't even bother to look at Shedeur Sanders' history. I'll bet you will watch one game that Shedeur Sanders quarterback for the Colorado Buffaloes, or let alone at Jackson State. Not one. Shedeur Sanders has the distinction of holding the most accurate, the record of most accurate passer in NCAA history from 2023 to 2024. And yeah, two seasons. And if you add his time at Jackson State, 2022, he's the sixth most accurate. Now, Bo Nix had 1 year where he was the most accurate, but you have to remember that was at when he transferred to Oregon. But at Auburn, that wasn't the case at all. And so Bo Nix's career, actual career percentage of in college, if I call that up real quick and look at it, we'll find simply this, and it's really notable. It's quite notable. His college stats show that he at both Oregon and Auburn had a career percentage average of 66.4%. That is way below, okay, way Shedeur Sanders' average of 74%. So Shedeur Sanders holds the record. Now, in terms of single season, Bo Nix holds it for 77.4. But in terms of career percentage, Shedeur Sanders is number one. Okay, number one. Now, Roderick Turner here says, I don't like Sage, but she's kind of right about this. Shedeur's camp handled the entire draft process wrong. No, actually, it had a lot to do with race, though. And the reason why I say that is that I've covered the NFL draft for 20 years, and that includes the combine, Roderick. First of all, a lot was made about Shedeur not throwing. Shedeur Sanders isn't the only athlete to elect not to throw. I mean, for example, Cam Roara didn't either. And let's take the year that Jaden Daniels came out. Jaden Daniels didn't throw. No one made a big deal about Jaden Daniels not electing not to throw. Not throwing at the combine is standard. But what Shedeur Sanders did do is he participated in the interviews and he had private meetings with organizations. So to say he didn't participate is the musings of someone who has no idea how the process really works. And may also very well be up to something in terms of just trying to put the young man down. Let's face it, the real issue here is that here's an African-American young man who is valued at already $6 million, and it completely, totally perverts the standard image of Black athletes coming into college. Oh, poor family, needs the money, can buy a house for his mother or father or both. You hear it again and 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 again. And then suddenly, boom, here's Shedeur Sanders, who doesn't have that, fortunately, in his background. And then no one thinks about how we got here. And how we really got here started, 15 years ago with Ed O'Bannon, the star basketball player from UCLA. Ed O'Bannon didn't like the fact that UCLA was making money off his name, image, and likeness and sued and won for the right that all other college athletes enjoy today. Now, it's no surprise that diehards of the old system like Nick Saban don't like what's happening. It's upended college football, and they don't quite know what to do about it. But others have said, you know what? We have to participate, play the game very well. And those colleges that have elected to do that have gotten the best players and paid for them, and the results show it. And Colorado was one of those schools that decided, in partnering with Deion Sanders, that it was going to go all in on NIL and pay college athletes what they are worth and give them the money that they deserve. And Shedeur Sanders is getting that because Shedeur Sanders has excellent comebacks. I remember Frank Mooney, I sent me an email and others on his list, and I thought it was absolutely racist. And so he puts this stuff out about Shedeur, but then he says, read this stuff, and he's praising him. So what is it, Frank? I mean, it's like a Jekyll and Hyde thing where you're confused, or somebody's, feeding you information about Shedeur and you're not checking it out, which is typical. All right. So Frank's not talking to me and right now, and I don't care. The simple fact of the matter is that you can take people like Johnny Manziel. All right. Johnny Manziel came out. I was there when he dropped. I interviewed him. And here's my interview with Johnny Manziel from the 2014 NFL draft. I'm not going to play the whole thing, of course, but it's worth bringing up and seeing in this context because Johnny Manziel was flamboyant. He supposedly didn't study his playbook well. What else? He said he not only didn't study his playbook well, right? But he also said a number of things he shouldn't have said about players and folks. He was outspoken, not in a bad way that got him in too much trouble, but the man played football. The man quarterback A&M to a victory, a resounding victory that I saw caught me completely by surprise, as did the rest of the country, against Texas and against Alabama Crimson Tide. Uh, it was something else, and it really was, and it really marked his career. It was his coming out party, if you will, and I I rooted for the young man. I rooted for that young man like I root for Shedeur Sanders. Okay, because they both are people who are essentially themselves. They make no apologies for being who they are. The difference is that uh, doesn't come from wealth, and Shedeur Sanders comes from his father's athletic generated wealth, but also made him wealthy. Johnny Manziel, had he been in college football, we fast forward him to today, would have been someone not dissimilar to Shedeur Sanders, and would have been fun to have them come out at the same time and see how the public responds to them. I'll bet you the NFL wouldn't have caused Manziel to tank. Here he is, like they caused Shedeur to tank at all. And so here, for example, here is Johnny Manziel right here. This is where I had the interview with him. Here's a few bars of Manziel, if you will. There he is. See, that's kind of excitement that Johnny Manziel generated, right? And rightly so. Same with Shedeur Sanders. I know it's too bad Shedeur Sanders didn't attend the NFL draft on site, but I don't think he wanted to stay in the green room as long as he did. That would have been a long stay, by the way, for the young man. But the bottom line is for Sage to hold her opinion based on hearsay information. That's all she did, just hearsay information. She blurts out her issues. Was really wrong. And for you, Roderick, to back it and what she's saying was wrong. Let me put it this way. You heard about the, but by the way, you didn't hear who actually did the interviews speak on camera and say, okay, this is what I saw. You know, this is what I saw. Here's why I'm sticking by it. Those people didn't subject themselves to a Q&A, which is wrong. So you have these folks making these comments about Shedeur, but they don't want to appear before the public and they don't want to be essentially cross-examined. That's ridiculous. And yet they are out there to hurt this young man. This was a conspiracy. You don't drop 5 rounds without it being a conspiracy. It's about race, because the way people described him, arrogant, confident, you want a quarterback who's arrogant. You want a quarterback who's confident. But the trouble is that people want their confident, arrogant quarterbacks in a white package. And that's wrong. You want your quarterbacks to be confident and arrogant, period. Don Meredith, the famous quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, who also on Monday Night Football said it best. He said, hey, look, it's not bragging if you can do it. And he's right. Don Meredith is right. So to say that Sage is correct in what she puts out there, no, she's not correct at all. She did no analysis, no judgment. She doesn't know anything about Shedeur's record. She doesn't know that Shedeur Sanders is the most popular athlete. She knows the most popular, the most accurate quarterback in the history of college football. He has the highest career percentage of anyone in college football, 74% over the years that he's played. He's the most accurate in history. Now, you're going to say, well, he threw short and he threw sideways. And no, he didn't. You can watch his games and see that. You can see that. People make these statements. They've never watched Colorado football. And those people who maybe did watch it, I'll bet you a healthy bit of them only watched the ones where they expected Colorado to lose and were disappointed that they didn't. There's been a lot of hate out there for that has to do with race. Dion knows it, and he's kind of egged it on himself, okay? But so what? That doesn't mean you deprive a person of their livelihood. $40 million is a lot of money. That doesn't mean you gang up on the kid. That's wrong. And it doesn't mean that you vomit up attitudes that really are racist, but think it's okay because I have other people speaking my language. Racism is wrong. I don't know where you all think that you can basically put on your white sheets and your pointed hat and come out and be nasty just because of Shedeur Sanders, but that's what's going on here. It's completely wrong. And that's 100% the case. Shedeur Sanders is going to do exceptionally well. My prediction is that Shedeur Sanders' jersey sales will top all the other jersey sales in the NFL. And watch. And I believe that's already happening. And so, and I wonder, let me check and see if anybody's monitoring it. Sometimes when news like that comes out and it's, good news for the person that they don't want to like, you don't hear about it much, right? But let's see here. Shedeur. I know for one thing that the Cleveland Browns would love to make a ton of money off of it. Here we go. This is 6 hours ago, okay? All right? Okay, Shedeur Sanders, Browns jersey is the third best seller among 2025 NFL draftees, New York Times reports. Okay, and it's Travis Hunter, Cam Ward, and Shedeur Sanders, two of the three of Colorado guys, top jersey sales. All right, and it's Shedeur Sanders rookie jerseys flying off the shelves. All right, and he's the only non-first rounder on the list. So think if he was the first rounder. Think if he was taken behind Cam Ward. All right, think about it. So Ward follows Hunter. Okay, and the list basically goes like this, as I understand it. Travis Hunter is number one, according to this list. And then Ward follows Hunter on the sales list, coming in third. And then Shedeur Sanders is coming in second, rather, and Shedeur Sanders is third. Okay? I mean, that's wild. All right? But then people say, we usually don't see a fifth rounder. Well, it's because he's not really a fifth rounder at all. He's a first rounder. We can't take away who Shedeur Sanders is, and that's what they were trying to do. They're trying to literally put that young man down. It didn't work. In the confines of the NFL draft, yeah, it happened. It did work from that perspective, but you're not going to diminish how the country feels about Shedeur Sanders and how those people who actually watch college football and keep statistics admire Shedeur Sanders and what he's done. You're not going to take that away. And it's very sad in this country that there are people who feel like they have to try. Sage Steele is one of them. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark NFL News by Zenny62.com. That ends the stream.